Greetings y'all, Voltage Controller aka Shiro Fujioka back again with another Syntakt video. This time we're going to be designing some sounds from scratch, and then we're going to take those sounds and create a composition. So let's get started with the blank patch, and we have our 8 digital machines and we have our 4 analog machines. Typically I like to reserve 1, 2, 3, and 4 for drums, and then 5 through 12 I use for melodic stuff or atmospheric stuff, bass lines or whatever. So yeah, let's just dig in and start designing some sounds. I'm gonna pick a machine, and I think because I come from a modular synth background, I don't really look at these machines as like fixed instruments. I just look at them as synth patches that can be manipulated and changed into whatever you want. So ultimately what I want to do with this first sound is get it a little more atmospheric sounding. So I'm just shaping the tones and timbre of the sound, texture of the sound, changing the bit depth, the balance. I mess with the decay. If I want to make it short or have a little tail on the end of it. Shape the envelope a little bit. It's all to taste, like when you cook. I don't cook from a recipe. I just kind of put a dash of this and taste, and when it feels and tastes right, then that's what we do. So right now I'm just manipulating the cutoff of the low frequency filter, adding some resonance and shaping the envelope. So now we're going to do that with the LFO and modulate the frequency of that low pass filter so we can automate that turn. It's like having multiple arms used in modulation. It's getting a little closer to what I'm hearing in my head, so I'm just gonna make a few more adjustments. It's time to dip this sound in a little bit of reverb, actually a lot of bit of reverb. Gonna adjust this, open this up a little more. Yeah, there we go, it's getting closer. Change the bass width of the reverb. Getting there. Just go ahead and open this all the way up. I'll probably dial it back down, but just want to get all spacey and atmospheric while we do this. Gotta love that infinite reverb, but we're gonna turn it down just a smidgy. Yeah, a little bit percussive with a nice long tail on it. That's the sound that I want to start with. Yeah, it's getting there. So we're going to go back to our LFO. We're going to go to LFO number 2, and we're going to go to our synth wave, and we're going to modulate that with this LFO. I'm going to dial this down a little bit. Just get that LFO moving that waveform a little bit to give us some motion, to give us some more texture, kind of add to the atmospheric elements of this sound. I kind of think I want to change the attack of the sound. I kind of wanted it percussive at first, but now I think I'm going to soften it up a bit, make a slower attack. Yeah, that's more the spacey vibe that I was after. Okay, I'm cool with that sound. I'm going to move to the next, but we might go back and change a little bit as we start, making more sounds. I'm just going to leave this on the chord machine and mess around with the waveform until I find something to my liking. Let's change that decay. We want to keep that open. So we want nice, just a nice soft chord to kind of carry our composition. So, I'm just going to tweak to taste until I come up with something that sounds and feels right. All right, I think I'm cool with that. We're gonna go to the LFO and we're gonna modulate the waveform like I was doing when I was kind of scanning around those waves. We're gonna get the LFO to do that, so we can multitask. All right, let's add some. I think I'm going to add a little bit of reverb and then we'll add some delay. Let's see. Oops. There we go. It's a delay. Put it on ping pong. Add a little more feedback. Turn it on. That helps. Okay, now we can continue tweaking that. A little more resonance on this low pass filter. Shape the envelope a little bit. All right, now we're going to go back to our LFO and I'm going to turn this all the way up because I'm going to make this, make the LFO modulate the pan. So move that sound around. And I'm going to dial down that attack a little bit, make the sound a little softer so it doesn't have such a percussive beginning. It's going to soften it up just a little bit. And yeah, we're good with that one. So let's move on to the next sound. Oops, not that one. Yeah, this sound. All right, so we're gonna pick this side tone and just kind of mess around with this. I like the way that this sounds. I'm gonna modulate this with the LFO for sure. And I'm just kind of going and experimenting, seeing what sounds good, what will fit the energy of the composition that I'm kind of starting to imagine in my mind, that I'm starting to get more than two sounds done. I don't think I wanted this percussive. Yeah, like that little bit of buzz in it. Add a little overdrive. And let's go to our low pass filter. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I think we'll go with the high pass. Add a little resonance. Yeah, that's more of the sound I was going for. Adjust the attack. More vroom vroom in it. There we go. Dip in a little reverb. Not too much, just a little bit. A little delay. All right, now we're going to go to our LFO and we're going to modulate the frequency of the low pass filter again. Yeah, so now we're going to go back to the LFO and modulate this to, get some more movement. So let's go to synth mod. And we will apply our LFO to that and get that waveform moving. Yeah, so now I'm going to change the LFO waveform to random, get kind of like that stepped energy and some unpredictability in the sound. what time it is. Time to dip it in a little more reverb and add a little bit more delay. Yeah, I think that'll work for that one. All right, so we're gonna move on to our next sound, which is side toy. Mess with the brightness a little bit. I'm gonna leave it bright. Some nice FM sounding tones. So with this sound, I'm gonna go for more of like a typical West Coast synthesis kind of random sound where we'll manipulate the tune of the oscillator. Let's add some reverb first. Get in the proper space. See, I'm gonna try this bandpass. No, it's not what I'm looking for. I'm gonna go back to low pass. A lot of resonance. Yeah. Let me shape this up just a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Switch to the negative side of the envelope, so it's less percussive, more of an inverted envelope. All right, so now we're going to go to our LFO. I'm going to put it on random, and we're going to modulate the tune of that oscillator, you know, and get that kind of typical West Coast synthesis, booklet kind of sound, which I call booklish, you know, since this is the Syntakt going through an identity crisis. Gonna jump back in the LFO, and I think what I want to modulate is the waveform of the synth, but I'm just gonna scan around and check out some other things before I just go to the first idea that I had in my head. I'm gonna, actually, where's the waveform at? I think I passed it. I'm just gonna try this first, and then we're gonna go back. Let's see, nope. Actually, no, let's just go back to waveform. That's gonna yield the results that I hear in my head. I don't want to experiment too much. I'm not trying to make this video like 5 hours long. So let's go to waveform, dial this up a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Get some kind of like dolphinish sounds. I think we almost have enough sonic building blocks to start building our composition. Need some low frequencies in this. I think I'm gonna go with the dual VCO. Yep. Let me turn that off. Turn this down. A little bit more. Yeah, let's mess with the filter cutoff. Raise it up. Resonance. So get that classic, bass filter sweep. Dial that envelope up a little bit. And we are going to, of course, modulate the cutoff of the low pass filter. I passed the low pass. Okay, so yeah, we're going to modulate that a little slower. There we go. Oops. Do a triangle wave. It's a little bit of reverb. Okay, now we're going to go to LFO2, but we're going to use LFO2 to modulate the depth of LFO1. Nope, keep going. Keep going. Let's see. Nope. Okay, there we go. Dub. Let's get it out of dubstep territory. Slow that down a little bit. Alright, so let's go back to our synth engine. Whoops, our synth engine. And we're going to change the waveform. Is that what I'm looking for? Yeah, I think we're going to stick with this one. Alright, so we're going to pick our last sound, which is this snare drum FM patch for our percussive patch. And I'm just going to manipulate the sounds and figure out where we want to take this. Once we get this sound, we can start putting something together. Usually after I design the sounds, I'll kind of go back and have to tweak a few of the sounds just to fit together as the composition starts to take shape. So these are just good starting points for our sound design, but we will continue to tweak them as we put this all together. One, and we're going to modulate the frequency again, the frequency of the low pass filter once again. Modifier is actually good to use when doing sound design because you can just hold your finger down and get busy. Go to LFO2, and once again we're going to modulate the depth of LFO1 with LFO2. Let's see, I'm going to go down to depth, and we're going to go to random, kind of get this sound, randomly cutting in and out based on changing the depth of LFO1 with LFO2. We can get these kind of like random percussive rhythms. And turn that noise down a little bit. after this one, we can start putting this together. So I hit function and track to get to the fold keyboard. And now we're just going to start dialing in some notes and figuring out the sonic foundation for our composition, which will be in two parts because we're going to do like an A-B composition. There'll be an A section and a B section. So we're going to go and lay that melody down. I'm going to turn on the metronome just so I have a reference to lay down that melody. Actually, let me dial down the BPMs to 90, 92. And hold on. Turn that up a little bit and we're going to, yeah, there we go. Yeah, we're going to record this. Okay, I'm just trying to remember what I did. I had to do it one more time before hitting record. So, turn in the count in so we get that 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it's go time. Now we can turn that off, and it's going to be the foundation of our composition that we build the A part on. And we're going to bring in the chords now and kind of just figure out where we want to take it. You know, just play by ear. See what sounds good, see what feels good. There's no wrong way to express yourself. It's the one thing you can do where you will never fuck up is to just express yourself freely. So that's our main structure that we're going to build on. Now add some other elements that we designed earlier, and this composition is starting to take shape. So we'll add our West Coast Booklish dolphinish sound. Okay, now we got that sounding right. We'll hit record. Start laying down some tricks for this sound. So now we'll go through and start looking at these tricks and adding some probability so they don't hit every time. So we get some happy accidents in there. It's like that one will play once every 2 rounds. You know, this one I'll just dial it to a percentage. You know, there's really no wrong way to do this. You kind of just adjust the taste. Like some of them I'll put in a particular percentage. Other ones I'll put in, you know, play once every 3 times, once every 2 times. And, you know, you just season the taste. That's how my grandma taught me to cook. Okay, I just wanted to record that over. Cool. So let me check and see where those tricks are at. It seemed like one was off. Yeah, so I want to move this trigger. Should have been on trick number 1. So I'm just going to copy and paste it. Okay, hold up. I'm going to copy and paste it and erase the other one. All right, so that's good to go. We can keep it moving. Let me see something. Oh, that was muted. Okay, so we got that back on. And our composition is moving. Yeah, so I'm gonna lay that down. Just add some more texture to the composition. Also fills out the frequency range. I like to have, lows, highs, mids, all in balance. So this gives us our lows and a little bit of mid too. Got a little bit of that buzz in there. All right, so I'm gonna go to this percussive element. Kind of gives this drone, gives it a pulse, because I ultimately want to turn this into like kind of a chill, meditative sounding beat. And I'm gonna use this to kind of give us a little bit of a pulse. All right, let's record that percussive part. Want to dial in a little bit more delay on that. Just give a little more space. I may have to go back and tweak that sound a little bit to fit everything else. Just kind of check and see how it sounds. Let's go to the drums. I'm just going to tweak the drum sounds, add some overdrive. Just get this. Yeah, it's a little closer to what I want to hear. down that decay a little bit, and take a little bit of the highs out. Let's open that envelope up and shape the amp envelope. A little more overdrive. Yeah, I think that's good. Change the tune. I'm gonna lower this a little bit. Yeah, we'll see how that works with everything else. Again, once I hear it with everything else, I might tweak it a little bit, but by itself, this is pretty much what I want it to sound like. So I'm gonna move on to the snare. I want that a little harder. Some overdrive and a little reverb. We're gonna do some, maybe like one hit at the end of the bar. We'll do like super reverb. The rest of it will just have a little light sprinkle of reverb. So we're gonna go to our hi-hat now. Open this up a bit, change the waveform. Okay, that's good. Let's dial some of them highs out a little bit, add some resonance. The frequency of that filter. So it goes from like muffled to bright. So give it movement once you hold this down and getting moving, you kind of tell how the filter cutoff is like giving the hi-hat some movement, a little reverb and delay to give it some space. Okay, now I'm gonna go to LFO 2 and I'm gonna modulate the decay of the hi-hat, so it stays closed and kind of opens and closes, give a little more movement. All right, let's hit that red button and record this. And we're almost getting through this. Gotta add some kicks, and once we do that, we'll have the A section done, and we can move on to the B section. All right, let's move on to that kick. And like I was saying earlier, as the composition starts taking shape, sometimes you have to retune sounds. And so, prime example, bump that kick a little bit, and we'll figure out a kick pattern to go with this. And that'll pretty much complete our A section, and we'll change up the rhythm to create our B section. So pretty much all we have to add to finish the A section is the snare, which will be, pretty, we're gonna keep it pretty basic for this tutorial. As I go deeper into this instrument, we'll get deeper into different styles of composition and more intricate rhythms. But right now we're just gonna do a basic snare pattern, basic kick snare. So next what we're going to do is we're going to add reverb on that last snare hit. But kind of something you would hear in like dub music where, King Tubby and Please Scratch Perry would like just dub out a snare hit. That's the influence behind that. Okay, yes, I want to add that analog bass to this, but we're gonna have to kind of change the sound a little bit because it's doing some things that are taking away from the composition. So let's just experiment with this until it sounds like it fits in our sonic puzzle. So right now it's standing out like a sore thumb. So let's see what we got. Yeah, I think this will work. Go a little lower. Okay, that's more of the sound I was going for. That will actually be friends with these other sounds. So that gives us our A section. So after this, we can move on to a B section, and I have an idea to change up the rhythm just to give us a high contrast between A section and B section. So I made function copy to copy our pattern and paste it. And we're going to erase all the sequences, and we're going to resequence this. Or I should say just erase the drums. We're going to keep everything else. So I'm laying down some snares on 3, 7, 11, and 15. Give us that like drum and bass feel. And then I'll change the placement of the kicks. So I'm going to lay down some tricks for the kicks. Oops. So 1, 6, 9, and 14. That's our placement for the kicks. And that gives you like a typical, drum and bass rhythm, jungle rhythm. You might add a couple of extra kicks in there. And now we have our A section and our B section. And, after this, we'll put it all together. All right, y'all. Thanks for joining me. Once again, this is Shiro Fujioka, aka Voltage Controller. And we're going to stop and put all these elements together and perform our A-B composition. All right, peace and love, y'all.